Hello friends, welcome to Parthin again. So we have studied about the four inner planets. Out of those we have studied about three. The four inner planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Earth we will study in detail throughout geography. Okay. So last we studied about was Mars. Now we will move on to asteroids. So you see here Mars is revolving around the sun, you can see this, and this is Jupiter revolving around the sun. In between them you can see these pink objects, these pink small planetary objects, these are asteroids. Okay, so there is an entire belt of asteroids between Mars and Jupiter. It is found between Mars and Jupiter. So once a question has been asked by SSC that between which two planets asteroid belt is found, so the answer would be Mars and Jupiter. Also you can see Jupiter is followed by a cluster of asteroids and Jupiter is following a cluster of asteroids. So behind Jupiter and in front of Jupiter also there is a cluster of asteroids. You can remember it like that. Jupiter we call in Hindi as Guru, and Guru is always followed by its chelas. Okay, so Guru is being followed by its chelas, which are asteroids, and in front of the Guru is also a lot of chelas which are asteroids. So basically asteroids are very small rocky bodies which are so small that they can't be called a planet. Okay, like this is Jupiter and this is the asteroids which are revolving around it and which are revolving around the sun. Okay friends, so moving further, here this animation is showing you the blue circle, and the blue dot is our Earth. Okay, it is rotating around this yellow sun, it is revolving around this yellow sun, and this green circle and this green object is the Bennu asteroid, Bennu, Bennu asteroids. In 2017 it came very close to Earth. Okay, here the timeline is going on. Now what is this pink object? Because we humans have a lot of curiosity, so we sent a satellite called OSIRIS-REx. So we had sent a spacecraft called OSIRIS-REx. Here the name is written. It was sent to Bennu asteroid to collect some samples to see whether it had some life support, or to study its soil sample and everything. Okay, so that's how it went from Earth to Bennu asteroid. It was sent by NASA. Okay, here you can see it went from this is Earth again, the blue one is Earth, the red one is Bennu, and the white one, the white trajectory is that of OSIRIS-REx. It went to Bennu and it again came back to Earth. It is not necessary how it did the everything, but you must remember that Bennu asteroid was recently in news because it came very near to Earth's orbit, and OSIRIS-REx was the spacecraft that was sent to it for sample collection. So friends, moving forward, one more interesting planet is Uranus. We all know, we have studied a lot of times about this, that it is tilted at 90 degree on its axis. So it is not rotating from east to west, rather it is rotating from north to south. Okay, axial inclination is more than 90 degrees as we can see, and also like Mars appears to us red because of iron oxide on its soil. In the same way it appears to us blue green in color because a lot of methane is present in its atmosphere. Earlier I have also told you these were gas giants. All the four outermost planets, that is Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Jupiter is majorly made of helium and hydrogen, and in the same way Uranus is made of a lot of methane, and due to that methane it appears to us as blue green in color. Okay, so moving further, let's come to our moon. You all must have heard about the movie Transformers Dark of the Moon. Why was it named so? And our Chandrayaan was recently, Chandrayaan 2 was also sent to the dark of the moon. What is dark of the moon? Basically we are always seeing the same face of the moon. What is the red one? Na? We are always seeing that face of the moon. Why is it so? Because the rotation speed of the moon on its axis and the revolution speed of the moon around Earth, it is same. It takes exactly same time, that is 27.3 days. 27.3 days it takes to rotate on its own axis, also to revolve around Earth. That's why we always see the same face of the moon. And Chandrayaan 2, it was sent to the dark side of the moon, which is normally not visible to us. That is the non-red part, that is the white part which we are seeing here. Okay, this is the part where Chandrayaan 2 was sent, and that's why the connection got lost, because the satellite went to this place. So in between moon came, and so connection was lost and a lot of things happened. So basically you need to remember that why do we see the same face of the moon every time? Because the revolution speed and rotation speed of moon is same, that is 27.3 days. So friends, moving forward, these are some of the constellation. You can get lost in this animation. Afterwards also you can see the time changing and the orientation of the constellations changing. Some of the constellations which you need to remember is this Ursa Minor, and Polaris is one of the star in this constellation. Constellation basically it is a pattern of some of the stars that are visible to us. Okay, this is one star, this is one star, this is another star, this is another star, this is another star, and Polaris is yet another star. In the same way, there is one more, there are a lot of constellations over here. You can see Ursa Major, right? Ursa Major in Hindi it is called as Saptarishi. You must have seen this constellation a lot of time. It is looking like a spoon. In a clear night from our village, when the sky is also clear, we are able to see this Ursa Major. Here it is, okay? 7 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's why it is called Saptarishi in Hindi. Okay. Other constellation what you can see here are, one more I wanted to show you, that is Lyra. If you can see Lyra somewhere, I am unable to spot Lyra right now, but it is somewhere here only. Okay, here is Lyra. Okay, here is Lyra. This star what you are seeing is Vega. Okay, I will further tell you about this Vega and Lyra, why this is important. And also this you see Pisces. Okay, Pisces, this is mean Rashi in Hindi. So these all constellations are this. You can see Taurus. Taurus is also one of the Rashis in, and also it is one constellation. So basically all these constellations and their Hindi names I have provided you in this slide. Ursa Minor is called Laghu Balu. Ursa Major is called Great Bear or Saptarishi. Okay. Then Lyra, it is called something, however you want to pronounce it. Okay. Now these are the Rashis of our Indian astrological system. Aries is Mesh Rashi, Taurus is Vrishu Rashi, Gemini is Mithun, like this, Libra is Tula. All these are basically constellations, and constellations are made of stars. Okay, Pisces we just saw, it is mean Rashi, like that. So you can, because one question has been asked. This is the question which has been asked in 2016, that Saptarishi is known to Westerners as by what name? 7 monks? Wrong. It is just they have converted its name to English by Google Translation. Saptarishi, 7, Sapt means 7, Rishi means monks. No, this is not the correct answer. Alpha Centauri? No, Alpha Centauri is a star. It is not a constellation. Okay. Then Big Dipper, I don't know about it, but Small Bear. Okay. Moving forward, so one more thing I wanted to tell you about is axial precision. Now what is this axial precision? You are seeing that our Earth is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees centigrade, but this 23.5 degrees centigrade is also rotating. It is also rotating in approximately 26,000 years. It completes one rotation, one revolution. Okay, like this. I told you about Polaris. Okay, Polaris was a star in which constellation? It was in Ursa Minor. Okay, so this Polaris, this is a star in Ursa Minor, and this Vega, this is a star in Lyra constellation. Now why I am telling you about axial precision is, in about 26,000 years this axial tilt of ours completes one full circle. Okay, currently where are we? Currently we have covered 14,000 years. So we are facing this Polaris star. What we see as the pole star is this Polaris star of constellation Ursa Minor. Okay, and this Polaris star is also we call in our Indian term as Dhruv Tara. But what will happen in next 12,000 years is the axial tilt will be facing this star. So our Dhruv Tara will then be Vega after 12,000 years. Okay, and it will be of the constellation Lyra constellation. So that's what is axial precision. How much time it takes to complete one full precision? 26,000 years. Currently we are what is our north star? Polaris. Okay, of which constellation? Ursa Minor. In the same way, after 12,000 years, Vega star will be our pole star of constellation Lyra constellation. SSC may ask you this one. So moving further, elliptical orbit. Let me tell you something about elliptical orbit. Our Earth is revolving around the Sun in an elliptical orbit. It is not a circular orbit, as you can see. It is flattened a little bit from its two axes. Okay, so we are having an elliptical orbit, and Sun is not at exact center. Sun is not here, which is the exact center. Rather, Sun is a little bit shifted from the center. So when we are the closest to the Sun, when the Earth is closest to the Sun, it occurs in January, and that position is known as perihelion. And when the Earth is farthest away from the Sun, it occurs in June, and that position is known as aphelion. Aphelion, A for aphelion, A for away from Sun. Okay, when the Earth and Sun are most farthest away from each other. P for pass. When the Earth is very nearer to Sun, when the Earth is very past to Sun, okay, then it is known as perihelion. In the same way, Moon is also, this is our Moon, okay, Moon is also orbiting around Earth in an elliptical orbit, and when it is away from Earth, it is known as apogee, and when it is nearer to the Earth, it is known as perigee. Why G? GEE means geoid, or Earth is in the shape of geoid, that's why perigee. And why helion in perihelion and aphelion? Because Sun is known as Sun is majorly made of hydrogen and helium, so it is also sometimes called helio in some other language, maybe Greek or something. So who discovered that the Earth is rotating around Earth and all the planetary objects are rotating around the Sun in an elliptical orbit? Kepler was the name of the scientist who discovered it. Okay, he gave the theory of heliocentrism. No, he did not give the theory of heliocentrism. Some other, Copernicus gave it. So, but Kepler discovered that we are in an elliptical orbit. Every planetary object is in an elliptical orbit around the Sun. Okay, so now moving further, 21st December, as we all know, this is known as winter solstice. The length of the night is the longest and the length of the day is shortest in northern hemisphere. On the other hand, the length of the day is longest and the length of the night is shortest in the southern hemisphere. The opposite occurs on 21st June, which is summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. Okay, winter solstice is the time when the length of night is longest. Summer solstice is the time when the length of day is longest. So 21st June is summer solstice in northern hemisphere and it is winter solstice in southern hemisphere. And 21st December is the winter solstice in northern hemisphere and summer solstice in southern hemisphere. In the same way, 21st March and 23rd September, these are known as equinoxes. This is spring equinox. This is autumn equinox. Okay, what happens in equinox? EQ means equal. So the length of the day and the night are equal at this date, 21st March and 23rd September. So how many times do we have the equal length of day and time in a year? 2 times. One is on 21st March, one is on 23rd September, both in northern hemisphere and in southern hemisphere. Now what is this periapsis and apoapsis? As I told you, this is the position of perigee when the Earth is most nearest to the Sun, 147 million kilometer. Okay, and this is apoapsis, which occurs in July when the Earth is farthest away from the Sun. So if we take an average of this distance, it will come approximately 150 million kilometer. That is the average distance between Earth and Sun. Moving further, to seasons. Why do we have seasons? We have seasons because Earth is tilted on its axis. If the Earth was not tilted on its axis, we would have the same season throughout the year in both northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. I will be explaining it to you in further slides. Okay, so seasons are due to the tilting of the Earth on its axis. If the Earth was not tilted on its axis, sunlight was always falling in the same proportion. As you can see, okay, here the sunlight is falling in the same proportion. But now, when the axis is tilted, this portion, this northern hemisphere is receiving more sunlight. Southern hemisphere is receiving less sunlight when the axis gets tilted. Okay, so the portion which is getting more sunlight, summer will be there. Okay, the portion which is getting lesser sunlight, winter will be there. That's why we have seasons. Now, if no tilting was there, that means the proportion of sunlight would have been same throughout the year in both northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. So we have seasons because Earth is tilted on its axis. And as I told you, 22nd December, it's winter solstice, that is longest night in northern hemisphere. Everything is in reference of northern hemisphere. 21st March, spring equinox, equal day and night. Okay. 22nd June, summer solstice, longest day in northern hemisphere. 21st September, again autumn solstice, equal day and night in both northern and southern hemisphere. Now you should take a glimpse of it. Here it is the month of December and January when the sunlight is falling on the northern hemisphere. है ना? See, this is the portion of northern hemisphere. So the amount of sunlight it is receiving is less in comparison to the amount of sunlight being received in the southern hemisphere. So the proportion of sunlight reaching southern hemisphere in the month of December and January is more. So there will be summer. Why? Because sunlight receiving is more, and also the sun rays are direct. It also matters a lot. See, here the sun rays are a bit tilted, but here the sun rays are directly falling on the surface of the southern hemisphere. So that's why also temperature here is enormous compared to here. So because Earth is tilted on its axis, we have seasons. Winter is there in northern hemisphere and summer is there in southern hemisphere, in the month of December and January. Okay, so you can see here winter in the northern hemisphere, here summer in the northern hemisphere. Moving forward, you can see, just make a note of this sunspot. Okay, this white spot which is on the sun, which is of the sun. When the sun is here, when the earth is here, it is equinox. When the earth is here, it is the time of summer solstice, that is approximately June. So you see again this sun, you see this sun, it will start moving now further, it will start moving towards equator. Okay, here you will see it has moved to equator, and further when it moves here, you will see the sun is moving in the southern hemisphere. Currently the sun is in northern hemisphere, so summer is going on. The sun is at Tropic of Cancer on 21st of June, so it is the longest day. Okay, and here the sun is at equator, so the length of day and night is equal at the time of equinox. And now the sun will start moving towards southern hemisphere, so winter will start to come in the northern hemisphere, because sun has left the northern hemisphere, and summer will start to come in the southern hemisphere because the sun will be moving towards the southern hemisphere. You see, okay, the sun has moved to equator, sun is moving towards the southern hemisphere, it has reached Tropic of Capricorn here. So friends, moving forward, now why I told you about axial precision is because currently we are here, okay, 2000 AD, so the axial tilt is this way. Okay, after 12,000 years what will happen? Axial tilt will be totally opposite. So on 21st of December we are facing winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, we are having winters in the month of December and January, but the opposite will happen. Okay, here we will have summers, opposite will happen. That's why I told you about axial precision, because after 12,000 years, when the Earth's axis is totally tilted, you see here it is winter. After 5,000 years, still there is winter. Now summer has come over here. It is the same month of January, but summer has come. It is the same month of January, but spring has come in the northern hemisphere. So that's why axial precision also will change the cycle of seasons on Earth. Okay, friends, that's it for today. And please like the video if you gain something new, if you gain some new knowledge today, from this video. Subscribe to it if you want to know further about a lot of things that are unknown to you. If you want to gain new concepts, basically we'll be clearing all the concepts. And also share the video a lot. If you want to discuss it with your friends should know what you have learned, so that you can know their angle also, and you can gain from the discussions that you are having from with your friends. Some knowledge you are having, you will share it to them. Their knowledge will increase, your knowledge will increase when they share something with you in the discussion. So that's why knowledge increases by sharing, and after all, sharing is caring, as we are told in our school also. If you have any doubts, please do ask us in the comment section, in our telegram channel link which we have provided you in the description. You have to ask doubts there also. You have to solve the questions on solar system and ask us doubts. Every doubt will be cleared. Our main focus will be on doubt clearing also only, because you can see these, you can gain knowledge from anywhere. You can read the books, you can watch any video, you can do anything to gain knowledge, but doubt solving is a major part in in clearing these exams. If you are studying something, definitely you will get doubts that why this thing is happening, why that thing is happening. So we are here to clear every doubt of yours. Please do ask us doubts. Okay, so thank you.